All right, so you're thinking about becoming a full-time RVing couple, and you got to figure out how to live in less than 300 square feet. And how do you do it without killing each other? The answer is you can't. One of you has to die. Okay, I'm kidding, but we are going to ask that question coming up right now.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
Hey everybody, what kind of a life, what kind of fun would you have if you could go anywhere you wanted to, whenever you wanted to, and not have to wait till retirement age to do it? Well, that's what it's like for today's guests, or at least that's what it seems like to me looking from the outside. Hey everybody, Alan Warren here with another great show lined up for you, where we have got a surprise or two for our guest at the bottom of the hour, and a couple of very smart folks lined up for hour number 2 with some stories about RVs that you will find, well, let me just say, they're going to be extremely interesting. Let's start off, though, by heading out to the Seattle area and visit with a young couple who are the envy, literally the envy of tens of thousands of Americans who literally live vicariously through their great YouTube videos. Let's bring up, for the first time here on the RV Show USA, David and Jenni Hiser. Hi, guys. How y'all doing?
We're good. How are you?
Well, good. If you're playing the live feed in the back, we've got a little bit of a delay, so you may want to turn that audio down because it'll be a little bit confusing. So tell us a little bit about Fate Unbound, if you would.
Go for it.
Well, we started traveling about a year ago. Actually, we just celebrated our 1 year on the road. And before that, David and I both went to college and got college degrees and basically decided we didn't want to do that. We wanted to travel the country and see what, the beauty out there was like. And so we sold everything, bought a teeny tiny RV, and hit the road.
Yeah,
basically it.
I love it, guys. I was watching some of your videos, and you seem to get along so well. But you did do a video that, you obviously you staged that picture like you were having an argument. But that question does come up, I'm sure, about how do you survive without killing each other sometimes, because you do live in a small space.
Yeah, it can be, living in an RV that really only has one room. It can be really hard, to get away from your spouse if you have an argument. But me and Jenni we're really lucky because we really are each other's best friend. We've got so much in common, and we just love each other with all our hearts. So it makes it kind of easy, even when there is an argument, because we have arguments. We're a regular couple, but, we want what's best for each other, so we are always able to come up with a resolution that makes us both happy.
When I posted that you guys were going to be joining me on the show, I had a lot of people that said that they've been following you since day one, and that the biggest comment is that you're genuine and you do seem to really love each other, and you're very honest. You have built an enormous audience, Jenni, in the last 12 months. Why do you think that is?
I don't really know. Because the way we see it, we're just some normal people out there traveling, sharing our story. I mean, there's not really anything too special about us.
I thought it was David's dashing good looks or something, or the dog.
Definitely the dog, yeah. Sweetie is definitely the star of the show.
Yes.
So if somebody has not yet found Fate Unbound on YouTube, what's your channel all about? Tell us a little bit about that.
The biggest thing we want to show is just, how you can live in an RV full time, and not only that, what we do most of the time is just show the awesome parts of this great country of ours. With the national parks, the national forests, we really showcase those things.
How often do y'all produce a video, and how do you decide on what topics you're going to be talking about?
We put out a video every Thursday, and also sometimes on Sundays, Jenni has her campsite reviews of all the free camping locations that we find. And we decide what we want to do basically just on, what's in the area. Like if we are in Oregon but moving north to Seattle, which is where we are now, we knew Mount St. Helens was on the way there, so we're like, oh, let's go see that.
Yeah, or if we've gotten a lot of questions about something, we'll make a video answering that question because we get so many of them that if we just answer them in a comment, then we feel most people aren't going to see that. I want to know that answer. So we'll make a video on that.
So Jenni, tell me, how did you guys begin this journey? Take us back a little bit over a year ago. Who looked at who and said, let's do this? Tell us about that.
Well, it's kind of funny because I've actually traveled a lot when I was younger with my grandparents. And so I've always loved traveling, and David kind of has, but for the most part, he just liked being home and near his family. So I was really surprised when one day he came home from work and went, what do you think about buying an RV and traveling the country? And obviously my instant answer was, yes, we're doing that right now. How can we make that happen?
David, why?
Whoa, back up. We got to think of this a little bit.
So how did that come about, though, David? I mean, you guys had traditional jobs, it sounded like. Did you just kind of have it up to the eyeballs and you said, no more, we want to escape? Or tell us about it.
Well, it's kind of funny. We had always talked about traveling a little bit, and I just at my job on like the for sale bulletin board, I saw someone was selling their fifth wheel, and I just thought, hey, I wonder if we should get a fifth wheel or a travel trailer or something. And then I started looking at them, and I knew nothing about RVs before this. I started looking at them and I'm like, hey, these have everything that you need to live in them. Wait a second. And then that was the idea. I was like, does anyone live in their RV?
Yeah.
And you discovered a lot of people do, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I did a Google search. Basically, that exact thing was, does anyone live in their RV? And I just found a ton of stuff and was opened up to the concept of full-time RVing that beforehand I had never thought of.
Now y'all are in your 20s, so you are the youngest couple that we have ever had on the RV Show USA. Do people... do they stereotype you, people that don't know any better? Do they think, don't get me wrong, do they think you're homeless, or do they, I mean, seriously?
Well, for the most part, we get mostly nice comments and, people that are super encouraging that, wish that they had done this at our age. And that's basically what we were trying to avoid is, being later in our lives and then regretting not doing things when we were young enough that, our health was all good and we were, we didn't have kids yet, all this stuff. And for the most part, we get, a lot of really awesome encouragement. But we have had people that, they ask us a lot of questions like, you're kind of young. I mean, when are you going to go back to work? When are you going to do this? Stuff like that. Or
we have had some people say, oh, well, they must be trust fund kids or something.
Yeah, but that's definitely not the case.
You'd have a little larger RV then probably, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So what were your careers before you became full-time RVers, and do you still work while you're on the road?
I was a mechanical engineer before we hit the road, and Jenni was a safety coordinator for a trucking company. And Jenni currently works for her company on the road still. They were kind enough to let her take that position on the road.
So were your family and friends when you made the announcement, hey, we're leaving? What were they supportive? Did they think you had lost your minds? What was that like?
It was actually kind of funny. My mom had the exact reaction that we knew she would. She said, take me with you. And we knew she would.
Yeah, but for the most part, everybody was super supportive. I don't think from our friends and family, I don't think we had anyone that was like, you guys are weird.
Yeah, there was a lot of support.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. What kind of RV do y'all have, and why did you choose to get that one?
We have a Keystone Springdale 2020 QB. It's a 25-foot travel trailer-ish, and we chose it because it was basically the smallest, most affordable RV that we thought that we could still live in full-time because we were trying to do it on as, small of a budget as we could.
If you were going to do it over again, would you pick the same RV? Would you go smaller, bigger, different kind, or what?
That is an excellent question. We think that if we were to do it over, we would probably pick the same RV to start out with because of, the small savings that we had. We wanted to be able to take that with us on the road. But in the future, we're hoping to upgrade to something that at least has a couch.
Yeah.
You got to have something for your dog, cats, and 2 rabbits to sit on, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, in less than a minute, what is the worst part of full-time RVing? Then we're going to jump for a break and pick it back up on the other side. What's the worst part of it?
I would say the worst part is just there's added stress because there's so many decisions you have to make. Like in a typical, lifestyle where you're living in a home, you're basically, your day is planned out for you. You got your routine, but living in an RV the way we do, you're always moving. You're always, you got to find water, dump station, fuel, etc. So there's just a lot more decisions to be made and stress involved with doing that.
All right, listen, guys, hang on. Folks, we got David and Jenni Hiser from Fate Unbound with us. We're just getting started right here on the RV Show USA. Y'all hang on. We'll be right back.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
And from Daytona Beach to Bend, Oregon, this is the RV Show USA. On our guest line is a young couple who have left the comfort zone of traditional living in terms of young folks, and they've opted out for a more nomadic lifestyle in their RV. We're visiting with Jenni and David Hiser, who've been sharing their story with us. And, you told us how you decide where you want to go. I guess when you have an urge, you just hook up and head out to a new place.
Yeah, basically. Our biggest challenge, though, is finding a place that's free to camp, and normally that takes me 2 full days of research just to pick a spot we want to go camp in.
So how do you it looks like you do a lot of BLM stuff, a lot of national forests. Do you have any security concerns? Have you ever had any issues while you're traveling?
I mean, of course, that's always in the back of our minds, but we have taken the steps that we feel is necessary to secure the RV, and also it doesn't hurt having a full-blooded Rottweiler behind in the RV guarding the fort.
Yeah, but her name is Sweetie. I mean, the name is Sweetie. That's not a name for a guard dog.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
All right, so tell us, because this is an important question. How do y'all make a living? I know, Jenni, you said that you still work. You've got the opportunity to work for your employer. But David, what do you do? Do y'all make money doing these YouTube videos? What kinds of things do you do to generate an income?
We do make a little bit. Of course, there's YouTube ad revenue, and right now that's not enough to cover all of our expenses. But we're hoping that as we continue and as the channel continues to grow, that in time we can make Fate Unbound our full-time jobs.
Well, you're getting a lot of views. You got tons of subscribers in just a year, and it looks like you are well on your way. I got a question for you, Jenni. What did you learn about David living in such a small space that you wouldn't have known maybe before that? What did you guys learn about each other?
That was a really good question.
I mean, to depend on each other more, to count on each other, about becoming more resourceful, how to live with purpose. I don't know. I'm just wondering if you learned anything about each other.
I mean, I've learned that even though we have always had this philosophy where whenever we get into an argument, we sit down and talk about it, it's even more of a requirement on the road because we can't get away from each other in our small space. So the thing that I've learned about him that I guess I kind of knew already, but for the most part didn't really pay attention to, is that he is really easy to talk to and he's really easy to reason with because he thinks so logically about everything that he can see my side and his side, and it really helps, keep us from being argumentative with each other.
And then, David, you let her know why your side is the right side. I mean, you do listen and then let her know who's right, correct?
Darn straight.
No, all kidding aside, what was when you guys were going to do this, what was the biggest hurdle that you had to overcome that you didn't anticipate?
Honestly, we thought that finding water would be really easy.
Yeah, that's true because we need to fill our fresh tank up when we go out to these boondocking and dry camping locations. And surprisingly, finding water, finding a place to fill up our fresh tank was a lot harder than we thought.
Yeah, especially when we first started. It's not so hard anymore, but when we first started out east, when we first started out in Vermont and New Hampshire, it was a huge pain.
What are some of the tricks that you use, Jenni? You say you guys like to camp for free, and I love free, but it takes you a day or two to find those spots. It would seem to me that any national forest, just about where you could backpack or dry camp, you could go there. Are you looking for something specific, or are you looking for, anything will work?
We are looking for something pretty specific when we're camping out in a national forest or out on BLM land. The number one thing is that whatever site we're in has to be open to the sun, because we have solar on our RV and we rely 100% on that to power everything. And we're on our laptops all the time because we edit videos and write blog posts and work. So we really need that sunshine. And then the second thing I always look for is to make sure that we have signal. And surprisingly, it's much harder to find a free site that has both of those than you'd think.
All right, folks, their names are David and Jenni Hiser. They're full-time RVers with a super popular YouTube channel called Fate Unbound. You know, guys, I always like to ask full-timers like y'all for advice, for listeners, for others who are, going, man, it must be nice. What do they need to know before they make the leap, what the Hisers did?
Really, I think what I would suggest is there are going to be so many fears, and you're never going to really know exactly when you're ready. And the hardest part for us was we kept going back and forth on, is this what we want to do? Is it not? We can wait. It's no big deal. But we knew that as soon as we had the idea in our head, we couldn't not do it. So for us, I think that what we would really suggest is just go for it.
So it sounds like you guys are somewhat risk takers. You don't need to have all the answers. You're more seeking adventure than you are guarantees, and you enjoy that.
Absolutely. That's kind of been my philosophy in life is like, risk seriousness for bliss. It's like go for it, and if it doesn't work out, at least you tried.
Yep.
Did y'all buy a new RV or did you buy used?
We bought a new RV because we both have never been RVing or owned RVs or had any family that owned RVs. So we didn't really know what to look for in the used RV market. So we just went new to, try and avoid some pitfalls.
Yeah, but we probably won't do that again.
You'd save a little bit more money by buying used, I imagine, huh?
Absolutely.
Let somebody else suffer the depreciation. And what about repairs? Jenni, it must be nice having a mechanical engineer to be your mechanic there on board.
Oh, it is very nice. He does all the repairs himself. We've only taken it in somewhere once to have repaired, and that was for our refrigerator, and they ended up basically just telling us, sorry, we can't do anything without approval from Dometic, which is our fridge manufacturer. So David was just like, I'll just fix it myself, and he did.
How awesome is that? I want to ask you guys, in terms of when you look at the overall industry and you look at other millennials, young people, do you see more and more people interested in doing the nomadic lifestyle that y'all have undertaken, or do you think it's are we on the increase or on the decrease?
I would say we're on the increase. I think there is a ton of people that are our age that would love to make this plunge, but are probably unable to do so because of they just don't know how, or maybe some financial setbacks or something.
Or they're afraid.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a ton of people our age that would love to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying just get over your fear and don't just jump in, but be rational. And I would think that you guys would be a great resource, as well as other YouTube videos. It's so much easier today than it was 10 years ago in terms of finding others that have paved the way.
Oh, yeah, it's way easier. We first got, when David first did the research on do people live in their RV, sure enough, the first thing we found were YouTube videos of other people around our age doing the same thing, and it really helped us decide on whether or not we were going to take the plunge. So,
all right, beautiful. Guys, we're going to have to call it there. Tell everybody how they can follow y'all on your adventures, please.
Well, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/fateunbound. We also have a website that has all our blog posts and all our videos, and that is fateunbound.com. And you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
That's awesome. I appreciate y'all spending some time with us today. Best of luck. We hope to catch up with you again soon, okay?
All right, thank you, Alan. Thanks for having us.
Y'all take care. All right, folks, type in Fate Unbound in the search bar there on YouTube or on Facebook, either one. Check them out. Very, very nice people.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
Hey everyone, I'm Miss Katie Warren, aka the graphics girl on the RV Show USA. Give us a like by clicking the thumbs up button down below, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody.